Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to learn how to draft the basic upper bodies and how to eliminate darts from it. This is actually an outfit we made from the drafts that I made, and it's looking all fine. See how the fits came out. It came out really looking very fine. So if this is what you're interested in, keep watching, like, share and subscribe. Thank you. So we'll start by drafting our basic upper bodies. So I'm just marking out the starting point. Just roll out a straight line and use that straight line as your starting point. So I'll go ahead and mark out my apex, my underboss, my half length, and the length of my top or blouse, or using blouse length at this for this in particular draft. So I'm just going ahead to mark out my apex, my underboss, the length of my blouse, and my half length. So I'm just rolling out the lines, and I'll go ahead, after rolling it out, I'll go ahead and label it so that we'll know what we are working with. So that's my length of my blouse, the length of my blouse, that's my apex, my underboss, and I skipped to mark my half length. Then I'll go over it again. So this is me marking out my half length. My half length is 16.5 inches, so I'll just go ahead and mark it out and roll out a straight line, and I'll label it half length, and then that's the length of my top. So after that, I'm marking out my shoulder divided by 2 plus half inch. My shoulder divided by 2 plus half inch, and I'll mark the point there. I'll come under it and mark 1.5 inch for my shoulder slant. Then I'll mark the length of my armhole, which is 7 inches, because I use my shoulder divided by 2 to mark out my armhole. So I'm just going ahead to mark out a straight line so that I can have a straight line for the armhole, and this is it. And I'll mark it out this way. So this is my armhole. I'll go ahead and mark out my neck width. My neck width I'm working with is 3 by 3. I'll go ahead and square up the line. I'll go ahead and square up the line with my ruler. Then I'll go ahead and connect my neck point to my shoulder slant like this. Next, I'll go over to my armhole and I'll mark 1 inch upwards on that L-shaped mark, and then I'll mark the midpoint of my armhole and come out by half inch like so. Then I'll use my curved ruler, which is my pattern master, to connect the lines. And then I'll connect it this way to the shoulder point. Next, we'll go over to our bodies. We'll go over to the apex and put our bust measurement. So I'll put my bust measurement divided by 4. And on the waist, I'll go over and mark waist measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inch for that. And then at the hip point, I'm marking my hip measurement divided by 4. I'll go over with my ruler to connect these points. Note the way I use the curvy part of my ruler to mark the waist to hip point, and then the straight one for the waist to bust point. Next, to go over to impute that, I'll mark my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2 on all the lines on my apex, my underbust, and on my half length point, and I'll connect it with a straight ruler. I'll go over to my waist point and I'll mark half inch on both sides of this line because we added 1 inch for that at the waist. So I'll go over and mark out half inch on both sides of the line and connect it this way to the hip point, and then we'll connect it also to the bust point. Then at the side, we'll come down by 1.5 inch for side dart. Note that this side dart is the difference between your front half length and your back half length. So whatever you have as the difference between your front half length and your back half length is what you're going to mark as your side dart. So I'm just going over to curve my neckline. So this is basically all for a basic draft, and we'll go over now to eliminate these darts that we have marked, the side darts and the center darts. So I'll go ahead and cut out this first. I'm just cutting it out from the paper so that I'll be able to eliminate the darts well. Note we're still working on the front part. We're going to work on the back part when we're done with this. So I've gone ahead to cut it out. I've cut it out. Then first we'll try to eliminate the side darts. So to do that, I'm going to transfer the side dart to the center point. So doing this, I'm going to slash my center line up to the apex point like this. Then I'll go ahead and close up that side dart. I'll close it up like this. And I'll use my tape to tape it down. Okay, so now we've done that. Now we'll have an opening at the center. We have moved the side dart to the center part. So we'll go ahead now and bring a piece of paper to close up that space that we have at the center there. Go ahead and close it up. So I'll tape it down and then cut it out. So I'm done taping it down now. I'll go ahead and connect this lower point line. I'll connect the lines together like this, and then I'll cut it off. So I've finished cutting it out, and right now I've only eliminated the side dart. So to eliminate the center dart, I'll go to my armhole point and I'll mark 0.75 on that point. Please, armhole point, I marked this one on my apex point, but when I was slashing, I slashed to my armhole point. So use your armhole point to mark it. Then I'll connect the line to the first dart leg like this, and I'll connect the second dart leg to the same point again. So I'll connect it like this. Then I'll go in with my ruler, my scissors, sorry, and cut out this particular dart because I've started moving the dart this other way, so we're going to cut it off. So I'll just cut out this dart and make sure to leave, not cut it out entirely. Cut it to the point and just leave a small piece there. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Just leave a small piece. Then we'll go ahead and close up these darts. Then we'll go ahead and close it up like this. I'll use my tape to tape it down again. So in this part, we've tried to eliminate the darts completely, but the waist dart is still there. So we'll just try to eliminate the side darts completely. So I'll tape it down now with my tape. So after taping it, you notice that the lower part does not match each other again. So get a piece of paper again and fill up that space and connect it to the from the center front to the side front using our ruler. So just go ahead and tape it down first before connecting it. So go over now and connect it with the ruler. Connect it like so and then cut it out. So we're done cutting it out. We're going to go over to do the last thing, which is taking out our waist dart. So I'm going to mark 1 inch because that was what we added to the waist dart. So I'm going to, on my waistline, I'm going to go ahead and mark 1 inch off the side and connect it from the apex, from the bust point to the waistline, and then from the waistline to the hip line. So let's go ahead and do it. So this is the waistline. So the dart is still there. So I'll go ahead and take out 1 inch at this point, 1 inch, and then I'll connect it with my ruler to the hip point and then to the bust point. So with this, we have succeeded in eliminating all the darts from this particular draft. So I'll go ahead and cut it out, blend it up and cut it out. So with this, there is no dart on any other part of this draft. So we'll go over now to work on our back because we're done with the front. So I'm just cross-checking if my measurements are intact, and yes, my bust measurement is there and every other thing. So we're working on the back now. So to start the back, I've already gone ahead to rule my lines, my starting points, and my apex, my half length, and the length of my blouse. So on the shoulder point, I marked my shoulder divided by 2 plus ½ inch, and I went ahead to come down by 1 inch for shoulder slant. And I'll go over and rule out the length of my armhole, and I'll square up the line. I'll go to my armhole at the L point part, and I'll go up by 1 inch, mark the midpoint of my armhole, and come out by ½ inch. Basically the same thing we did to the front bodice, and then I'll connect it this way. Then I'll go to my neck point and I'll mark my neck width 3 and my neck depth 1. For the back, we're using 1 inch for our neck depth, and I'll go over and square up this line, square it up, and connect my neck point to my shoulder slant like so. So I'll go back to the bodies, and then we'll mark our bust divided by 2, and on the waist point, bust divided by 4, and on the waist divided by 4 plus 1 inch for that, and on the hip divided by 4, and then I'll use my ruler to connect these points. So we'll go back to the waist point now to impute our dart, and I'll put my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2, and I'll mark it on all the points, on all the lines, the bust line, the waistline, and on the hip line. Then I'll come out by ½ inch on both sides on the waistline and connect it like so. Connect it like so. So this is basically it for the back. So we're going to go over now to try and eliminate our back bulge, that zipper bulge. So to eliminate that, I'm taking 1/2 inch on both sides of the waist line, both sides, half inch, and then I'm connecting it towards the side back. I'll go over my scissors and cut it off. I'll cut it out, and then I'll use my tape to tape it down. So we're slashing it out, and then I'll get my tape to tape it down. I'm just cutting out the paper under. I'm taking it out because I folded into 2 initially, so I'll just go ahead and tape it down there. See, I didn't slash it out completely. I left a little bit, like 0.25 inch at the side front, so I'll just go ahead and tape it down. So this is one way to eliminate your zipper bulge, so that your zipper will lay flat at the back, because we're trying to remove every form of that and everything that will make the fabric bulge. So this is it, and this is it. So I've taped it down. I will also just go ahead and cut this out so it will lay flat, because it's not laying flat. I'm just going to cut it down so it can lay flat. See, it has laid flat now. So I just completely cut it off, the excess paper. This one I'm cutting out is excess paper. So we've eliminated a little bit of the zipper bulge, but we'll still come back to it later. But let's try and eliminate our side darts, because we've not actually removed our side darts. Remember, the goal is to take out all the darts from this pattern. So for the darts, I'll just go to the side and take out the 1 inch that we added for the darts. I'll just take it out. I've already marked it there. So just go ahead and connect to the bust point and connect this way to the hip point. So this way we've removed the center darts. I call it center darts. I went in by 1/2 inch also at the center back, at the waistline at the center back, and this is going to eliminate the zipper bulge completely. So with this now, you don't have any issues. You will not have any issues with your zip bulging or not laying perfectly at the back. So this is me going ahead to cut out all the excesses from this pattern, trim it out like this, and I will trim out the zipper parts. Trim it out. For this 1/2 inch I took at the zipper bulge, you can go ahead and add it back to your side front, but I am not going to be adding mine. I don't want to add it back, but you can go ahead and add it back. It's also okay to add it back at the side front. So this is it for the back. We've eliminated all that from the back and the front as well. So this is the end of our tutorial. In our next video, we're going to show you how to use this to cut the dress from our intro video. So if this tutorial was helpful, give it a thumbs up, like, share and subscribe. See you in my next video. Bye.